let's go ahead and move on because
Yeah, let's move on. And what I want to talk about is, well, it's a story that a lot of people may have heard about, involving Sam Cedar, because, and the reason I want to talk about it is I know many people have already heard the story, but there's kind of more components to it, and I think it's important to talk about because it has broader ramifications that I think are relevant to some of the other things that we're going to talk about on today's show. But so the background is years ago, Sam Cedar put out a tweet. Okay. And the tweet was very snarky and I would argue in bad taste, but I like things in bad taste because I'm an old foul-mouthed punk rocker.
Ditto. And I like sarcasm.
And I love sarcasm, and it wasn't funny. Okay. And it wasn't intended to be funny. But what it was at the time, there was controversy surrounding Roman Polanski. Now, the controversy starts where he was ultimately found guilty, or was he had appeared in court for having sex with like a 13-year-old girl. Okay, and he was on appeals or something to that effect. And what he did is he split, he absconded, and he went to another country, and he's been living in exile ever since. And a number of years back, there was all this kind of talk in Hollywood and in circles where, like, Roman Polanski's such a great filmmaker, and it was such a long time ago. Maybe we need to rethink, letting Roman Polanski back. And Sam Cedar took the very righteous and I think glaringly, obviously correct position, which is that no, Roman Polanski had sex with a 13-year-old girl, and if he's not going to answer to that and pay the price that he needs to pay for it, then no, he doesn't get to just come back and be some great filmmaker. But he did it in a snarky, sarcastic way. And he said, something to the effect of, if my daughter is ever raped, I hope it's by a, prominent director with great, raison d'argent or some freaking ridiculous Latin, French actor term that, I don't know, you might know, Mike. You were in drama longer than I was. But basically just saying,
right.
Pointing out the absurdity of, let's just forget that this guy was, caught doing this really horrible thing and hasn't had to answer for it. No, we don't get to let him back. Now, fast forward years later, this piece of shit, Mike Chernovich, starts this. He's just some alt-right troll douchebag. He started his career by writing a book about how to pick up women. He was a pickup artist and made videos about picking up women. He said things like gay rape doesn't exist, and he's a disgusting pig. But he decided that he was going to start this campaign against Sam Cedar, and he contacted MSNBC. Sam Cedar is a regular contributor on MSNBC. By the way, he has his own show called The Majority Report. He's a far leftist, progressive voice, and he was on Air America, and a long history. And but he's a contributor, occasional contributor on MSNBC. And so Mike Chernovich contacts MSNBC and says, hey, he put out this tweet and we're going to raise a bunch of stink about it. And so MSNBC fired Sam Cedar, and because they were afraid of the controversy. Well, they retracted. It came out, what really happened. They've hired Sam Cedar back. And but instead they moved on from there. Okay, no, so it ultimately had a great effect for Sam Cedar. He got a bunch of new subscribers. He got attention that he hadn't had before, and he made money. But let's not point out the motivations behind what this alt-right Mike Chernovich was doing. He was using lies to discredit someone who has regularly been a voice that's been discrediting libertarians and alt-right ideology and the far right and Donald Trump and so on. So they attempted to use this disgusting, dishonest practice to take away his free speech and his right to be on the air and his livelihood. And these are ethical, honest people who utilize critical thinking and present our political atmosphere. Yes, they have a left progressive bias, but they're open about it. They're presenting like ethical fucking journalism. And if you do that and you weigh it against anything of the alt-right, it's not going to work. your alt-right shit is not going to hold up against critical thinking and ethical journalistic standards. So they have rightfully reached the conclusion that all of these alt-right dudes are fucking fascists. So what do? They employ a campaign of lies and dishonesty and try to discredit ethical journalists.
Well, they're attacking people because they don't believe in the same things they do.
Right.
And that's what this is, isn't it? I mean, it's these alt-right, these, these guys running around in their fucking black and yellow Fred Perrys that are attacking. It could very easily be me and you. We're fucking way easy targets. We don't make any money, then we're not quite as popular as as Cedar and Pac-Man.
Right. We don't have a platform. If they took us down, no one would know it. But
no shit.
Amazingly awesome 328 subscribers. Right.
Exactly. Thanks, guys.
We're not sitting on 100,000 subscribers. We got 328. Right. You know, and every one of them is awesome, but except for the ones that subscribe to troll us.
Well, whatever. Yeah.
But they're not.
But, hey, bump our numbers, guys. Thanks. Appreciate that. So. Whatever, troll us all you want. I mean, haters only make you legit. So, anyways, it's just they have no. It's like you said, any critical thinking just shuts their arguments down. So their only course of action is to attack any way they can, and whether it's through social media or come on. Why do people wear masks at some of these demonstrations?
Because they're all criminals.
And they were married.
No, because they don't want to be doxxed. You know, part of it is because there is. We're not going to get into this too much on this today's show, but there is a rampant and concerted effort all across the nation to shut down dissent, and
exactly.
So that's part of it.
That's all I was trying to say.
But there's also the alt-right will dox people. If you're a face that gets known and is confronting them and being successful in confronting them, then it goes out over on 4chan and on the poll, and then they dox the shit out of you. And so it's self-protection, and
they do it too, though. That's what I was trying to point out. They do it too. When I was in San Bernardino, I saw masks on the other side of the street.
Totally. Well, so you got half of their side is masked up, and the half that isn't is giving the left shit for the people who are masked up on the left. Like, why are you wearing masks? But they don't confront the dudes on their own side that do it as well.
And it's doing it because they don't want to get doxxed.
Right.
I mean, we have lives. Let us live our lives and let us have our ideology and let us talk about it. And if you don't like it, then don't fucking listen to it.
Right.
But the bottom line is there's more of us than there are of you, and you don't like that, and you can't change us. So what you're trying to do is shut us down. And you yell and scream about free speech, but where the fuck is my free speech? I have just as much right to it as you, and you probably have less of a right to it, you alt-right fascist motherfucker, because you're spouting hate.
Yep.
And we're not. We love. Aloha. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the Punks for Progress land.
I don't live in Hawaii though, so I don't aloha.
That's all I was just trying to get to, bro. It's like, it's what they do because they have no argument. So, and I am glad to see that it worked out great for him. And if you haven't checked out his show, you absolutely should.
Majority Report with Sam Cedar.
Yeah, we highly recommend that. That's definitely Punks for Progress.
And check out David Pakman too. And
definitely Pakman.
Okay, check it out, Mike. Pause the recording because I have to pee so fucking bad I can taste it out my nose. Okay, so that's a good enough segue. Actually, that's a great segue into what's been going on with net neutrality, right? Because we're just talking about one concerted kind of crusade against leftist media. We already know that there's a dishonest war against leftist outlets, but let's put that in context, and then now let's talk about net neutrality a little bit, bro.
Right, because we're just talking about these YouTubers that might be losing their bandwidth.
So can you break it down? Because I want to be lazy. Can you break down?
I break down net neutrality?
Say it real quick.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, okay. Basically, what it is right now, net neutrality means that all internet sites have to run on the same bandwidth. So it's got to all be at the same speed, no matter who you are, no matter how big you are, no matter how small you are. The net is neutral. So anything, YouTube, Amazon, Punks for Progress, whatever the fuck it is, everything runs at the same speed. So now what they've done is they have to, because Obama came. It was an Obama thing in 2015, an Obama rule. Right. So there's another reason that fucking Trump wants to dump it. So, and the other thing I was going to say is that, this dumb shit, Ajit Pai, that is now the FCC chairman, he was actually put onto the FCC by Obama, too. So, right. So anyway, now what they've done, they've eliminated net neutrality. So now it's not neutral. Now everything does not have to run at the same speed. That allows internet service providers to charge for maybe certain websites. Okay, so Punks for Progress is a left-wing website, and we're owned by Comcast, and we're right-wing, so fuck you guys. We're going to slow you down. We're going to slow down Sam Cedar. We're going to slow down David Pakman. We're going to slow down Democracy Now!, and we're going to speed up Fox News. And we're also going to speed up Amazon and Google, because we're charging them, $500 a month for super fast bandwidth.
Because they can pay the...
Because they can pay the ransom.
Right.
Punks for Progress can't pay the ransom. So we get one fucking 1 mile an hour, while they get 70 plus.
So it has a twofold. Not only does
right.
it,
but they can also block websites, because maybe the websites aren't paying them money to for some reason, or you don't have enough bandwidth, motherfucker, so you can't go to this website now. Or you're going to have to pay us. You have to pay a $2 fee to check out this website.
Which means that, okay, so because we haven't paid that extra fee, when people go to watch the videos at Punks for Progress or whatever, the bandwidth is so small that the videos don't load right. You can't really watch them. It's pausing all the time. It's grainy and all fucked up, because they have put something in place to slow the speed with which that information is sent across the net. So it's not that you're in any way paying to for them to provide a service. You're actually paying. I mean, they've created a block against you, and you have to pay them to remove it.
It's a ransom.
It's so disgusting. Our internet. They're
not providing a service. They're not providing a service. They're not creating a product. So there you go. Where's your jobs? Big corporation not creating jobs. Imagine that. But we'll get into that later too. But yeah, this is basically what they can do. And what's so interesting is that, none of the mainstream media outlets, news outlets, put any time into this at all. I think CNN may have put a minute and a half, and I don't think Fox did any, and I think MSNBC put in like 30 seconds or something. But they're owned by freaking mega huge Comcast. Right. I think Comcast owns CNN, and they're the ones that are going to benefit from this.
So I don't like the word.
They're not pushing it.
Let me just say this real quick. I don't like the word mainstream media. Jank uses this all the time, and I'm not trying to like slobber all over the Young Turks, but corporate media, which I would say, fine. What I have regularly said is state-run media. That's what MSNBC is. Fox is. No, Fox, MSNBC, CNN, that's state-run media, because they're corporate media, and the corporations run our government.
The state. Well, the corporations own our government.
So it's state-run media.
Right. It is. It's corporate media. That's exactly what it is. So.
And so they will have the only voice.
Yeah, basically exactly right. So.
And all you alt-right, hey, all you freaking Red Elephants douchebags and all you alt-right freaking outlets and shit, it's going to affect you too. If you're not pushing the main, actually, you might get a bump because you're racist fucking scumbags. And, so you might, get picked up by a larger network connected to Breitbart or something.
They're getting kicked off a lot. Twitter's going to is starting to kick them off
that's
too.
Twitter. But then that doesn't affect them from broadcasting. They don't broadcast their live streams on Twitter. They're doing them on YouTube.
No, but right. Who else who got shut down? Daily Caller got shut down. They had to move servers.
Yeah, it's a mess. Twitter is trying to address it, but it's not like they give a shit. They're just trying to like save face, but so it's a mess. They're banning a bunch of alt-right people and getting it wrong, and it doesn't have the nuance that it should. So it's a mess, and it's still unfolding. It's a little separate from the net neutrality argument, or discussion, but yeah, Twitter is effectively trying to apparently ban hate speech and but there's still like anti-Semitic shit that's still sitting up on Twitter, and
well, didn't Trump just threaten a whole bunch of people? You're not supposed to threaten
people. He's been repeatedly
threatening.
Hey, I stood with some of my friends from Refuse Fascism in front of Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco. There's a video on our channel, and we called it out because he's in direct violation of Twitter's terms of service.
Absolutely,
he threatened to nuke a country. And he has the power to do it. That's at the very least bullying. Meets the standards, you know.
It's a credible threat.
Right. He's threatening not just violence, mass murder.
So let me just get this straight. So let me just get this straight. Let me recap here real fast, right? So this 20-30% base that voted for this fucker, now they just lost their fucking internet. They're going to have to pay for their internet, right? Is that correct? Is that
well? Yes, they are. And no, you're right. And here's the thing that I would argue, Mike, and it's a good point that you bring up, and I'm glad you brought it up, because from all these experiences I've had being out at all these different like Patriot Prayer events and pro-fascist bullshit that they call free speech and shit. All the kind of big far right outlets have been at these, right? And one of the things I noticed from I always throw out red elephants, but there's very fake news. There's just a number of them. They have these huge followings of people. So when they live stream, they have their live chat going, their super chat going, where you can donate money. And I've watched them, and like in a 2-hour live stream, I can just from the ones they mention that they talk about in their live stream. Oh, hey, you donated. Hey, here's our follower. They just donated. I mean, at least like $400 or $500.
Damn.
That's from 1 2-hour live stream. And they're not telling you all the ones that are coming in. And they're not even giving you it's not like they're keeping a tally that you can actually like mathematically. It's more than that. And they have support for other outlets. So I think that groups like these or channels like these or whatever, they're gonna have access to the cash to. It's feasible to think that they'll have the backing and the connections to overcome this net neutrality problem. And this is an issue, and it's a left-right issue, whatever. It's not Democrat, Republican.
Right. No.
Buy into that garbage. We're leftists. Okay, we're not liberal.
But here's the thing. Yes,
this right wing is gonna get a stronger voice out of this. You and I, and what other prominent leftist voices are there? There's people like Young Turks and Sam Cedar and David Pacman and like Kyle Alinsky from Secular Talk. There's Humanist Report. These are the kind of the leftist voices, and they're under siege. They're under attack. We just explained it earlier with what went down with Sam Cedar. And so when you got the Mercers backing you and the Adelsons backing you and the Kochs backing you, you're going to be able to overcome these obstacles and firewalls that the elimination of net neutrality has put in place.
Well, what I was going to say was that now that these, some of these alt-right sites or these, racist sites may have the money to pay for this, the bottom line is now they're going to have to pay for it, whereas in the past they didn't.
Right.
So you're cutting into their bottom line, and you know how much Republicans like to do that.
And in the end, it's not like there's going to be this crusade to like make Red Elephants a big media channel. But like, okay, InfoWars will do great. But the state-run media, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, ABC, they'll be
no, absolutely. They'll have the money. Yeah, it's going to be the big corporations. Once again, huge, big corporations.
And I should point out real quick, there are, last I heard this morning, 17 states that are literally the states that are suing the FCC right now over this.
Correct.
It's not over. And, you know, I'm an anarchist. I'm not big about, you know, appealing to your elected, you know, Republican officials, because that's what we are. We're not a democracy. It's a representative republic. I'm not big on appealing to them, but this one, you know, there's still hope. And I you know, there's links on our page for numbers that you can call that Shannon has totally hooked up on our Facebook page, where you can call fucking people. The fact that there's 17 states suing the FCC right now is important. That's significant, man. And so it's not over.
No, it's not. You're right. They're suing the. From my understanding, they got to sue the Senate. The Senate can overturn it. If the Senate has the ability and the right to overturn.
Look at we're appealing to. Look at Congress that we're appealing to, but
yeah,
they feel that it can affect their ability to get reelected in 2018. Then it can be important. That like there's a 83% of the nation wants to retain net neutrality.
Right. No, it's yeah, right, across party lines, definitely. This is
I just wanted to leave that out there. Dude, there's alt-right people that are disgusting alt-right people that are like saying things like, "Hey, San nigger, Ajit, we're gonna murder you." Like, it's so disgusting. So, but
no, but yeah, it crosses party lines. Everybody's affected by it. This just fucking proves, dude. It's not about me or you or us, or it's about corporations and rich billionaires, just like this tax bill.
And it just kills me too, Mike, that these alt-right people that are still supporting Trump are sending death threats to Ajit Pai. Racist, disgusting death threat.
You mean the same ones that send death threats to the people that have abortions?
Yeah.
They call themselves pro-life, yet they take health insurance away from 9 million people.
Yeah, the same fucking morons that are to this day still harassing Heather Heyer's parents.
Oh my God, to where she can't even say where the grave is.
Right.
I can't. Why? What the fuck is your problem? You need to just back the fuck off.
It's so disgusting. It's just
that's just beyond disgusting to me.
God, how many times have we said disgusting in the last year? I'm so sick of saying disgusting.
Vile piece of shit and all
and foul and like
deplorable.
And yeah, all these adjectives, man, and
foul. We need to come up with some new ones.
But they just. You hear what I'm saying, bro? It's like
I hear what you're saying.
These words do describe. These words adequately describe the climate that we live in. But it's like, oh yeah, it's disgusting again. And then you got everybody on YouTube is like, so and so eviscerated this guy, and you know, so Paul Ryan gets destroyed, or you know, fucking this Bernie Sanders, you know,
devastated
on blah blah blah. And it's like, I don't, you know, you look at our titles on our videos, we don't talk that way. I mean, there's one where it says I schooled Johnny Benitez, because I think I fucking did, and then there's the other one where Pokes for Progress schools alt-right guy in socialism. I did. Like, that's inaccurate. I didn't destroy fucking alt-right guy. And so because we use this language, when you and I say, wow, it's really disgusting, like, it loses its relevance to reality. It's disgusting.
It's because it's something we're going to talk about in a
little
while.
And that doesn't mean anything anymore. And disgusting doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just, you know.
We have to use it so much.
Let's just get behind the fucking pedophile from Alabama and fuck it, you know, because, you know, the Illuminati is, you know, controlling everybody through George Soros, and everything about Roy Moore is a lie because of
the liberals want to give your money away.
Right.
They want, you know, open borders and
deep state. Look out, it's the deep state run by George Soros.
Oh my God. No, but it's the Mercers. The Mercers and the Kochs are okay.
Right. Right.
So this tax bill.
You never hear the alt-right talk about the Mercers or the Kochs or Adelson. Never. They never.
Do you hear the left talk about Soros?
Recently, because I think people are getting really fed up with it, because I know I'm poor as fuck, and I've been organizing on the street constantly since the fucking minute we caught wind of this motherfucker having the possibility of being president, and I ain't never received a check for none of it. You know I'm poor as fuck over here, bro.
So I want to believe that humanity can outlive this vile, disgusting time period that we are in right now.
Let's talk about that 27%. We've thrown it around a little bit, and we intended to flesh it out a little better. But that roughly, and we've been talking about this since the very beginning of starting our podcast in 2015. That
right.
There's this roughly 27% of the
about
Republican
30%.
Party.
Yes.
And the Republican Party is less than half of the nation. And it has been that way for a while. I don't give a shit the way the voting has turned out. Every poll universally shows that less than half of our nation identify as conservative or Republican. So less than half of our nation, 27% of that, is unshakable in their support of Trump. So even though it's actually less than 27% of the U.S. population, I still like that number. Let's just go with it. 27% of the U.S. population will never be wavered. They will be supportive of anything the Republican Party, and most significantly what Trump does. But what's the other side of that number, bro?
82?
72.
No, it's 72.
73. 73% are vehemently opposed. Well, so 73% are not favor, but I would say 60% are vehemently opposed. And there's that small little window of people who are like, I just don't know. I wish he would just shut up and quit tweeting. Right?
I would agree with you that way. I believe that there is definitely between 50 and 60% of people that are adamantly opposed to what this administration is doing and where the direction of this country is going in. I believe there's a small percentage of people that are like, oh my God, I don't like him, and he's an idiot, and he should shut his fucking mouth. But they didn't vote.
Let's look at Alabama. Okay, what happened with Roy Moore and those numbers? No, we're not going to get into it too much. But what happened was 78% of black women voted against Roy Moore. They didn't come out and vote for
Aaron. 78%, 98%.
Sorry, thank you. That's what I meant to say. 98%. Yes, 98% of black women in Alabama. They didn't vote for Doug Jones. They voted against Roy Moore. So,
well, they might have voted for Doug Jones.
Let me finish this point.
Okay.
The Democratic Party is not going to wake up to the fact that the vast majority of African Americans in this country only support Democrats because they're slightly better than Republicans. They're not supporting and giving love to Democrats, but the Democrats aren't putting up blatant racists and pedophiles. So, and there's I'm almost there, bro. There's a second aspect to this. Not only did the African American vote completely sway what happened in Alabama, there were the white liberals and stuff that were on the right page too. Now, if you take that as a microcosm of the nation, really, African American votes, if my African American brothers and sisters could just come out in droves, they could set the tone and the narrative for this nation. There are enough honky ass white privileged motherfuckers like me and Mike that will back you. We will follow you. You are the most oppressed. You know better than anybody in this fucking nation how much misery will be visited upon us as a result of these new ramifications and these new policies and these tax bills and this net neutrality, because you've already been living under it. And we are ready to support you. And I say that that's hope. That's hope. Because I think they're ready to get off their fucking ass. And we will fucking follow them. This can't be a liberal, bourgeois class, honky-led movement. This has to come from the most oppressed. And what's going on with the Me Too campaign is so fucking wonderful, because that's going to contribute to it too. Women and minorities, you are the power. You are the strength. And you are the voice of this country. You can make the change. We have to quit being scared of this piddly ass 27% just because they've got some fucking asshole in power right now. Well, I just want let's wrap this shit up. But I also want to just say before we get out, I would direct people to New Abolitionist Radio, great fucking podcast run by Max Parthas and a few others, and then check out Black Talk Radio as well, because that is where the fucking revolution starts, with the most oppressed people in our society. That's the voice we need to listen to. That's who I think should be the leadership of this revolution that I think is going to happen.
I also wanted to give you props for bringing up the Me Too movement. So that's very important.
There's massive changes happening in our society, bro. Massive changes. And these are great. People are going to have to fucking hold themselves in check. They know they can't get away with some shit no more, and you can't treat people that way. Like,
this gives me hope for humanity.
Only 27%, man. It's only 27%. Yes, they got the reins of power, but there's just that fucking the most ignorant, racist, bigoted element of our society is the only people supporting this agenda, and really rich people. So it's a fucking tough fight.
But they're blatant about it, and they're showing their colors and who they are.
So listen
it's
to
not
them.
hidden.
Righteousness on our side, and we're standing by the oppressed.